We stood at the edge of the world, Patagonia. The wind whipped around us, carrying the scent of distant glaciers and wild earth. The name itself echoes with wildness and adventure, conjuring images of untamed lands and endless horizons. Our goal was clear: trek through the legendary Torres del Paine National Park, a place where every trail promises a new story. Towering granite peaks clawed at the sky, their jagged silhouettes reflected in glacial lakes that shimmered turquoise below, untouched and pure. Every step was a discovery, the silence broken only by our boots crunching on gravel and the distant haunting cry of an eagle soaring overhead. We felt small, yet deeply connected to something ancient and enduring, as if the land itself whispered stories of ages past. Our plans were set, our supplies checked and double-checked, every detail carefully considered for the journey ahead. We thought we were prepared, our spirits high and our resolve strong. But in wild places, plans are just suggestions. Nature holds the real authority, and she can change her mind in an instant. That first night, we camped under a sky ablaze with stars, the Milky Way a shimmering river above, reminding us how far we'd come. Laughter and stories circled our fire, but a subtle tension lingered in the air, as if the mountains themselves were watching. The locals call it el viento, the wind, a living spirit that shapes this land, relentless and unpredictable. We were guests in its kingdom, unaware of the test ahead, humbled by the vastness and the power that surrounded us. The calm was beautiful, a fragile peace that felt almost sacred, but it was only the prelude to what was coming. As we slept, the kingdom prepared to show us its true, untamable power, the air thick with anticipation. The symphony of the storm was about to begin, and we would soon learn what it truly meant to dream in Patagonia. The second day dawned beneath bruised, menacing skies, the kind that seemed to press down on the world with a silent warning. The horizon glowed faintly, but the sun was nowhere to be seen, hidden behind a wall of churning clouds. The air was thick and heavy, charged with an electric tension that made every breath feel different, as if the atmosphere itself was waiting for something to break. Birds were silent, even the mountains seemed to hold their breath. The usual morning chorus was absent, replaced by a deep, uneasy stillness that settled over the land. Nature doesn't shout, it whispers. You have to listen closely to catch its warnings, hidden in the smallest movements and faintest sounds. The wind began as a gentle murmur, rustling leaves and sending delicate ripples across the lake's surface, hinting at the power gathering just out of sight. But it grew, a steady hum that vibrated in our bones, making us glance at each other with unspoken questions. The energy in the air was unmistakable. Clouds raced overhead, the temperature dropped sharply, and a creeping sense of unease set in, as if the landscape itself was bracing for impact. We paused our trek, instincts kicking in as we focused on reinforcing camp and finding shelter. Every movement became urgent, every decision deliberate. Each gust grew stronger, the wind now a physical force pushing against us, bending grass and trees, making every step a challenge. We double-pegged tents, anchored gear, and checked every knot, adrenaline sharpening our senses as we worked together against the rising storm. The world shrank to the safety of our small camp, a fragile island in a sea of wild, unpredictable nature. The lake churned, its surface whipped into chaos, while the mountains vanished behind a swirling veil of dust and mist. The wind's hum became a deafening roar, shaking the earth itself and making the ground tremble beneath our feet. We zipped ourselves into our tents, the thin fabric our only shield against the fury outside, hoping it would hold through the night. We were about to meet El Viento, the legendary Patagonian wind, face to face, with nothing but our resolve and preparation to protect us. The storm was no longer a distant threat, it was upon us, a certainty we could feel in every fiber of our being. We braced for what was coming, huddling together, drawing strength from each other as the wind howled around us. In that moment, survival was our only goal. Every action, every heartbeat, was focused on making it through the storm that nature had unleashed. Then it hit, a sudden, violent impact, like a freight train slamming into the mountainside. The tent walls buckled, the roar deafening, vibrating through our bodies. Thought and speech vanished, only raw sensation remained. The wind was a rampaging beast, indifferent to our existence. Inside, chaos, nylon walls blurred, dust and grit stung our eyes. We pressed against the poles, our bodies the last defense. Outside, branches snapped, rocks hurled, the world a symphony of destruction. Fear stripped us to our core. No deadlines, no worries, just survival. There's no negotiating with a windstorm, you can only endure. Every lull was a false hope before the next ferocious gust. We were trapped, helpless, our skills and gear feeling laughably inadequate. We were not masters of nature, just fragile beings at its mercy. All we could do was hold on, brace ourselves, and wait. Time lost meaning. Minutes stretched into eternity. The storm raged on, relentless. Dawn broke, the wind now a howling gale. We unzipped the tent to a scene of devastation. The landscape we'd admired was gone, scraped raw and wounded. Soft earth replaced by exposed rock. Vegetation ripped away. Trees stood skeletal, trunks twisted or snapped. The air reeked of sap and torn earth. The lake was brown, choked with debris, shoreline unrecognizable. The wind had deconstructed everything, reducing the world to its basics. It was a humbling lesson in impermanence. Silence followed the roar, a battlefield after the fight. Our plans and maps were now irrelevant. The journey had changed. We had to adapt or turn back. Patagonia had been transformed, and so had we. As the gale eased, we emerged from our battered shelters. Other trekkers appeared, faces marked by exhaustion and relief. Some had lost everything but survived, huddled in rock alcoves or ditches. We gathered, a shaken community united by survival. Stories poured out, tents abandoned, desperate runs for cover, quiet competence in the face of chaos. Barriers dissolved. Age, nationality, language didn't matter. We shared food, clothing, and comfort, helping each other without question. The storm stripped away possessions, but revealed our shared humanity. Tears, laughter, and a deep bond formed in adversity. We were no longer strangers, but a temporary tribe forged by the wind. In those hours, we learned more about each other than in weeks of travel. Community became our greatest strength. Together, we endured. The storm was a harsh teacher, but its lessons were clear and unforgettable. Each gust, each flash of lightning, seemed to demand our attention and respect. First, respect. You can't conquer nature, only adapt and survive. The wild is not an enemy to defeat, but a force to understand and honor. Preparation isn't control, it's readiness to let go and respond. True preparedness means accepting uncertainty and being willing to change course at a moment's notice. Humility is essential. You're a guest in the wild, not its master. Every step is a reminder of your smallness and the vastness around you. Second, resilience. Not just of gear, but of spirit. The true test is not what you carry, but what carries you through. I saw it in every person, sharing, helping, finding strength to smile even when the world seemed to be falling apart around us. Resilience isn't being unbreakable, it's rising after being broken. It's the courage to stand up, again and again, no matter how many times you fall. The wind tore apart our world, but not our will to endure. We clung to hope, to each other, and to the belief that we would make it through. The storm stripped away possessions, but left us with what mattered: life, health, and each other. In the end, that was enough. It was a detox from materialism, a reminder of true value. We learned to let go of what we didn't need and cherish what we had. The best gear is useless without knowledge and grit. Experience, wisdom, and determination are the real tools of survival. The landscape after the storm was scarred, but honest. There was beauty in imperfection, and a story in every mark left behind. The journey became meaningful not despite the storm, but because of it. Every challenge deepened our connection to the land and to each other. Our scars mirrored the lessons etched into our souls. Each mark, each ache, was proof of what we'd overcome. Patagonia's wind changed us forever, shaping not just the land, but the people who dared to walk through it. Our journey didn't end as planned. The trail impassable, supplies low, spirits weary. We turned back, but it wasn't failure. The trip became something far more profound. Travel isn't just about beautiful places, it's about challenges that reveal who we are. The journey within begins when the outer journey goes wrong. Adversity teaches us strength, compassion, and connection. A perfect trip is pleasant. A difficult one is transformative. The storm stripped away illusions, leaving clarity and respect for nature. These are the stories worth sharing, of challenge, survival, and the power of the human spirit. The world is full of adventures and lessons waiting to be learned. If this story inspired you, join the community. Subscribe for more tales from the edge. Our next adventure is just around the corner. Never stop exploring. Your greatest journey awaits.